Okay, good evening. Glad that you're all here again. I don't know if we have any brand new people, but if you are brand new to the association and you haven't sent me your contact information yet, please do. That's my cell phone number up there if you don't have it recorded anyplace. Uh, Anytime that you got a question, give me a call and we'll help you through this. Uh, we all started at some point in our lives here, and it can be a pretty overwhelming process. And our job is to help you get through it. We're glad that you're becoming an official. We want to make sure that we do it right. Okay, so tonight we're going to talk about some game management sorts of things. And we all miss a call. Uh, Even the veteran officials, there are nights that things happen quickly. The mechanics try to cover all 22 players, but even with that, there are times when we won't see something and everybody's going to get upset. Uh, we'll have judgment calls. Sunday night, we started talking a little bit about pass interference. Uh, there's always going to be half the people that think you're right and the other half think that you were wrong. So all that gets questioned. Put that into the noise. Don't pay a whole lot of attention to it. Just get ready for the next snap. Uh, we have some scrimmages that are coming up soon. So when Jason is trying to put those together, if you're available, sign up for those. Those are not reserved for veterans. Jason might have kind of implied that Sunday night. He didn't mean to do that. You all are welcome to come on out there and get in some work. So that's kind of the environment that we're in. That's what we're signing up for. The main thing is we want to avoid any kind of train wrecks. And there's some obvious things that will happen that we need to really kind of control. We want to make sure that nobody gets less than 4 downs or more than 4 downs. That happens. There are times when the game clock and the play clock have issues. It could be the clock operator. And oh, by the way, you all are going to be clock operators for varsity games. So we'll make sure that you're all ready for that. But there are times down on the field where we can mess some things up too. Every team gets the opportunity to have 3 timeouts each half. We want to make sure that they don't get more than what they're authorized. And we want to make sure we don't cheat them out of one. And then nothing is worse than a game being delayed because we're taking too long to do the penalty enforcement, change of period, measurements. It just kind of adds to a lot of anxiety that none of us need. So we need to make sure that we know what we're doing and how we're doing it and keep that game moving. Okay, so when we look at something like down here, MX 47 to 48, I'm referencing the mechanics manual, page 47 to 48. So when you get a chance to go look at this video later on, that's what I'm referencing on how we do things. Now, the mechanics manual is written that the crew of 7 is the primary manual that we go by. And most of y'all new officials, you're going to be working a 5-man crew. So look at what things say in the crew of 7, and then you go into the crew of 5, and that's where we talk about the differences. So when I reference mechanics manuals here, everything's going to be in the 7-man mechanics, for reference purposes. Okay, game cards. When you buy your uniform, and if you get the starter pack, more than likely you're going to get some plastic game card that's reusable in there. There's all kind of variations of formats and things like that. A lot of people have designed their own. The one I'm showing right here is one that I designed myself. It's one that I use. Um, it's just in a Word document format. I'd be happy to email it, that to you if you want to use it. As you talk to other officials, see what they use, see what they carry around with them, and how they record information and things like that. But there's some very critical things, regardless of the format that you're using, that we have to keep track of. So visiting teams always in white. So I just kind of leave that there like that. When we get to the game, I figure out what color the home team is wearing, and I just write that in. So what we reference during the course of the game is red 25 did something or white 22 did something. That's how we refer to the team. We don't call the team by a name or anything like that. We just kind of refer to them by jersey color and their number. We need to know who the team captains are, especially if you're the line judge or the back judge in a 5-man crew, and on the 7-man crew, you're responsible to go get those team captains. And you're going to bring them to the sideline for the coin toss, and you need to know which one is talking. And I'll show that in a sample here after I get through this slide. Then there's the coin toss. So we only have the referee and the umpire out there going through that. They will write down who won the coin toss and what their decision was, whether they're going to defer, whether they're going to receive, and if they're going to defend, the scoreboard or north side or whatever. Then when we all go to the center of the field, we all need to write that down. We just need to keep track of that to make sure that the correct team gets the ball to start the second half. Anytime there's a score, write it down, record the time as well. We talk about that in the mechanics manual. Timeouts are critical. What quarter did they take it? What time was on the clock? And who called it? And more than likely, it's going to be the coach, but can also be the team captain. So all that information needs to be recorded. Change of period. Check your mechanics manual for that. Everybody's got duties and responsibilities when we go from first to second quarter and third to fourth. And we start off by making sure we know what the down and distance is, where's the box located, and where's the clip. We'll talk about the clip in another one of our training sessions. Progressive files. So sideline warning, that starts off with just that there's a warning. We have coaches that are in the restricted area during the course of a play, or there could be non-players in there. There could be any number of things going on that's going to precipitate a sideline warning. Then the next one that they get is a 5-yard penalty. Then the next one after that is a 15. And the next one after that's another 15-yard penalty. It could result in a disqualification and ejection of the coach. So it's important, obviously, for us to keep track of those. Unsportsmanlike conduct. If you have 2 of those, you're going to be ejected from the game. So we all need to keep track of that. Every member of the crew needs to keep track of that. I also keep a blank sheet. That's where I do things like keep track of what time the score occurred, any unsportsmanlike details, and any random notes I need to make. So this is kind of what my game card would look like. You can see up here in the first half, both teams took all their timeouts. When you see the scores here, no surprise that the visiting team didn't take any timeouts then. Both teams had sideline warnings. They didn't go into subsequent ones. We did have unsportsmanlike on the home team there. So it's number 24 of the black. It was in the second quarter, and that's what time that had happened. So we also had an unsportsmanlike on the white team. That was in the fourth quarter. Again, what happened there? If you wind up being one of the officials that throws that second unsportsmanlike against that same player, you get the privilege of writing the ejection report to the state. So it's important to know all the details of those other unsportsmanlike conduct files that occurred. And that's why the crew is working together on that. What happened, who's it against, when did it occur, and things like that. So as a back judge, I'm always getting the visiting team. So not only do I need to know who the captains are, but I circle who's going to be doing the talking, because we want to get them lined up correctly when we bring them out there for the coin toss. Again, that's something that we'll try to get some on field time, and we'll kind of walk you through that whole process of lining players up and doing things like that. Need to know how to count to 11. So the mechanics manual, page 36, talks about that and who's responsible for it. So on the crew of 7, counting the kicking team, we always have the umpire, back judge, side judge, and field judge up there in the free kick neutral zone. And they're back on the goal line will be the referee, the head linesman, and the line judge. So it's natural for them to count the receiving team, and natural for us that are up there in the neutral zone to count the kicking team. Scrimmage plays, the referee, the umpire, the head linesman, and the line judge, since they're all up there on the line of scrimmage, they will always count the offense. The back judge, the side judge, and the field judge, since we're back behind the defense, we'll always count the defensive team. The umpire is also responsible for counting those 5 linemen and make sure that they got the correct numbering. Crew of 5, kicking team, on a free kick, the umpire and the back judge, they're the only 2 up there at the free kick neutral zone. So we'll count the kickers, and the referee, head linesman, and line judge, they'll be back behind the receiving team, so they'll obviously count them. 5-man crew, things look a little bit different on scrimmage plays. The referee and the umpire will always count the offense. The back judge will always count the defense. Now, the head linesman and the line judge, you're going to wind up counting the team that's on your sideline. So if you're the team on your sideline is on offense, you're going to count the offense. If they're on defense, they'll count the defense. And then the back judge will signal you, depending on which team is on defense. And you're also, if your team is on offense, you're going to signal the referee. So we need to be aware of substitutions. There's the rule for that. And then, of course, the umpire, there are some exceptions on the numbering, and that's listed in Rule 7-2-5. So you can take a look at those. Those will happen on scrimmage kicks. So know what those exceptions are and how we handle those. And we'll cover those. Yeah.
When you talked about the referee, knowing who's counting, you need to make sure on your pregame who you're signaling to somebody else that's also counting your group, so everybody knows you counted. So you're not sort of counting in by yourself without anybody else knowing you counted. And
there you go.
A nod or a thumbs up or something to work that out.
Okay, so everybody needs to count every play. And what Rick is talking about there is you have to signal that appropriate official. And what we do is we make a fist and we extend our arm forward. Sometimes you may kind of put it off to the side just to make sure that they can see you giving that signal. Now, there will be times that you weren't able to count. You could be a wing official and there's a coach that's in your ear. He's asking what that previous foul was, or there was some kind of dead ball officiating you had to take care of to break up a fight or do something like that. And the next thing you know, the team is lining up and getting ready to snap. If you didn't get a chance to count, don't give a signal. Because what could happen there is you're going to signal that you got 11 players on the field when you really had 12, or maybe you had less than 11. And you don't want to be sitting there and somebody saying, well, you signaled that we had enough. So if you weren't able to count, don't give a signal. Back judge and referee, we should never have that problem. We always need to be able to get in that count. That's part of our pre-snap routine. We're out there in the middle of the field. As soon as the play is over, I start counting the defense, and then you watch to see if there's anybody coming and going. When you realize you got 12 on the field, flag it right away. If you think you have 12, throw the flag. Trust me, there have been plenty of times when I'm out there trying to count. You got players moving around, and I throw a flag, we blow the whistle, and I'm going up saying, okay, defense, count your players, and we find out that there was 11. So suck it up, pick up the flag, and we're going to move on. What you don't want to do, what you really want to avoid, is if you think you have 12 and you're not sure, and that ball gets snapped, then we find out that they did have 12 out there. Now you got a 15-yard illegal participation foul. If you flag it before the ball is snapped, then they're going to just have a 5-yard penalty. Okay, so just know what those are. On the offense, when a substitute comes in, the replaced player has 3 seconds to start moving off the field. On the defense, theoretically, they got 3 seconds, but defenses typically don't form into a huddle, so it might take a little bit longer for them to get off. So we don't give them that 3-second count. We give them the ability that when the snap is imminent, they better be off the field. So, of course, they don't know when the snap is going to be. So there's a little bit of judgment right there. Back judges, I'll work with you all so you feel comfortable with when you need to do that. Just if you got 12 out there and you think they're ready to snap that ball, go ahead and drop that flag, and then we'll sort it out. All right. Okay, down marker. This will come in your pack. Real simple. You just kind of loop it around your first finger, first down, second, third, and fourth. Each crew member is responsible for keeping track of what down it is. Don't depend on that box because on a sub-varsity game where we're working 5-man crew, you might have some kid running the box or some dad that's down there that's more concerned about what's happening with his kid than what the box is. And there will be times when your down indicator is not correct. I go to change. I got muscle memory right now as part of my pre-snap routine. That at the end of the down, I'll go ahead and change it to the next down. But if there's a penalty, I may not remember to move it back to that previous down. So, or I might be involved in some dead ball issue that I'm trying to break up a fight, or there's something else going on that I wasn't able to change my down indicator. So we want to make sure that everybody's got the proper down. That's an opportunity to stop the clock and just kind of holler at the other crew members. I've got second down. What do you got? And if everybody starts saying they got something different, then we need to get together and fix that. So that's a save the crew kind of a situation there. If you're not sure what down it is, ask. So we'll talk about pre-snap routines for each one of the positions. We'll do that when we start getting out there onto the field. But make sure you get that down marker going. Bean bags. Okay. This is going to be a uniform issue. These are my bean bags that I carry with me. If you decide to wear a white one on your belt, we want it to be clean. This picture turned out a little bit better than what I thought, but that skinny bean bag there, I keep that in my pocket. That's a nasty, dirty looking little guy. And then the one that's folded up, the other white one, that's a vinyl kind of one. The black one is the one that I put on my belt. It's nice and clean. It blends in with the uniform. I use that whenever there's a fumble because I can quickly grab that and then toss it to the spot. The two white ones, I keep those in my pocket, and I pull one of those out anytime that we're getting ready for a kick. So you got 5 times here when you need to drop the bean bag. And again, those are listed in the mechanics manual. The first one is when there's a fumble. Not because you see a ball bouncing around on the field. You need to see that player lose possession of the ball. So typically that should just be one person, one official, marking the spot where that fumble occurred. You don't need to throw it at the player. Just kind of drop it on the yard line where he lost control of that, lost possession of the ball. First touching by K, 6-1-7 talks about a free kick. So we're only dropping that bean bag inside the neutral zone. 6-2-5 talks about scrimmage kicks beyond the neutral zone. So that's when we'll drop the bean bag there for first touching by K. Read the momentum exception. We'll talk about that during one of our training sessions. You just need to know when that is. That's anybody, a defensive player or a receiver that's getting possession of the ball inside of the 5-yard line of the goal line that they're defending. If their momentum carries them into the end zone, we could wind up bringing the ball out to where they got possession of the ball inside the 5-yard line. So we'll explain a lot of that, another time. But that's where that 852A is where the exception is. It's in the rule book. If you read that, you weren't sure what it was, we're going to cover that again. Inadvertent whistles, those happen. Blowing the whistle before a play is dead. We need to mark the spot where the ball was when that occurs. So we use a beanbag for that. 2-24-2 defines when a kick ends. So typically that's going to be a back judge, could be a wing official, depending on where that, if the ball is kicked short, that as soon as somebody, the receiver gains possession of the ball, or if the ball gets downed and it's not moving, we'll mark the end of the kick right there. Sometimes we need that for penalty enforcement. So just know when the kick ends. You're going to see that there are blue bean bags out there. We don't use blue. We only use black or white. And especially, again, if you're going to be a back judge, side judge, or field judge, it's a good idea to have at least 2 in your pocket. All officials, probably good to have at least 1 on your belt and 1 in your pocket. There's multiple things that can happen during the course of a play. Whistles and flags. Be discreet with the flags. You don't want to go out there with all these flags hanging off your belt, looking like you're some suicide bomber or something like that. The nice thing about those flags that have the little black ball at the end of them, those will blend in well with your uniform. So coaches don't think that your sole purpose in life is to be out there throwing flags. They get weird ideas when they see that sort of a thing. So what I typically do is just have one flag tucked in my belt. That's the one that's got the black ball on it. And I've got another flag that doesn't have the ball on it. I just fold that up and I keep that in my back pocket in case I ever need a second flag. And then I can go ahead and reach in my pocket there and get that. A whistle, we use Fox 40 type whistles. There are other brands out there that kind of sort of sound about the same. That's okay. We just don't want to have any P whistles out there. You know, those kind of whistles that we probably grew up with. So, you know, have that handy. I guess going back, you got whistles that will go around your neck. You have whistles that can go on your finger. You'll eventually figure out which one you prefer. I prefer just the ones around the neck. You're going to see other officials wearing them on their hand. Talk to them, ask them why they do that. They like it for a reason. I don't like them for my reasons. So there you go. But you need a whistle. Okay, game clock. There's your mechanics. There's the rule 3-4. Again, you all can expect to be doing clocks your first year here. So make sure you understand how they work. When you start them, when you stop them. Referees will tell you, let us screw up down on the field, but you need to be aware of when you can anticipate the clock stopping and the clock starting. When the clock goes crazy on us, we may bring you down on the field. So make sure you have a good watch, a good stopwatch, some kind of watch, some kind of timekeeping device to be able to keep track of the time. We prefer that you don't have your cell phone up in the press box, but if we need to bring you down on the field to keep track of time, then we might send you out to the car if you want to use your iPhone to keep track of the time. That's okay too. When you're on the field, get in the habit of checking that clock a lot, the game clock. If you're the one stopping the clock, you need to take a quick look up there to see that it stops when you wanted it to stop. If you're echoing stopping the clock, also take a look at it. And if you think that too much time ran off, be ready to report it to the white hat. And that's listed there in the mechanics manual. Play clocks, this is going to be for your back judges, side judges when you're on the 7-man crew. I ask all deep officials to pay attention to it. You know, is it a 25 or is it 40? We typically don't have the play clock for sub-varsity games, so make sure you got a reliable watch that you can keep track of it. So we have to worry about play clocks. Somebody has to time the timeouts. We time the time between periods. Halftime, we time those. Game clock again. And oh, by the way, we have the official time. Back judge in the 5-man crew, side judge in the 7-man crew. I always sync up my watch with whatever my cell phone has on there. So we are the ones responsible for the official time. If you want to pay about $60, I use this on the field. When that little switch is going up, that's a 40-second play clock. When it's down, it's a 25-second play clock. This is optional. I use a second down indicator to remind myself for penalties whether the clock should have been on or if it should be off. So when I got the little band around my thumb, that means the clock should be on. When I got it hanging, the clock should be running. If you want to be an umpire, Bob Jeffries is on the session here tonight too. When he umpires, especially when he started, he will use a second down indicator to make sure that he's got the lateral positioning of the ball where that's supposed to be. So we'll save that for an umpire breakout session. Okay. Have y'all taken the test yet?
Not yet, but this week.
Yes, I have.
Uh, you get an 80 or better?
I did.
All right, good to go. Feeling okay about rules? We're entering week 3. You all feeling okay about what you signed up to do here? Yeah, that's almost a trick question. It's a lot of this is going to be overwhelming for a while.
Yeah, it is at the moment. So I think once getting into the practical part of the season and really seeing it in live action will definitely help out. So
yeah, and kind of leading into that, are you all available to do an in-person Tuesday night meeting, or is there a better day of the week that you all want to meet? If we get together in person, I may try to find. We've used Baumhauer's on the Parkway a couple of times. I'll go someplace where we might be able to eat, and then we'll go into stuff. But I'm considering maybe next Tuesday doing an in-person one. But send me a text, let me know what you think, and we'll start getting together, talking about mechanics and those sorts of things. If I can get into Milton Frank Stadium, I might even try to do something there to go over some administrative kind of things that we do. So think about that. Zoom is convenient and things like that, but there's only a certain amount of things that we can effectively do on Zoom. Sunday, get ready for some running plays. You may want to look at forward progress and look at holding because I'm going to highlight some of those things. Let me go ahead and stop recording.